A historic moment for really one of the most historic names down the food aisles. That is Campbell Soup closing on its deal for Sovos Brands, which will have it selling large amounts of pasta sauce, notably Raos pasta sauce. Let's bring in really the man who led the charge here for this acquisition, $2.7 billion acquisition for Sovos Brands. That is Mark Klaus, the CEO of Campbell Soup. Mark, a big moment for your team. Congrats to all of you. I know it was a lot of work to get this deal done, but now that it's done, over the next 60 days, what's the attack plan for a brand like this? How do you integrate it?
Well, hey, Brian, great to see you. Yeah, it's an exciting moment. I think in many ways there's not a lot of times where you've got a billion-dollar business that is the real growth engine in an industry that strategically fits perfectly within our portfolio. So it really is a bit of a match made in heaven. And look, the first 60 days, obviously, in any acquisition, you're spending a lot of your time and energy on the people, right? You want to make sure that those great team members from Sovos are finding their way into the Campbell's family. And we've got a great plan. You would have seen today, we announced that we're bringing over one of the key leaders in Risa from the Sovos team, and she's going to be leading the distinctive brand segment within the meals and beverage business. She has a tremendous history, led the Raos business through a lot of its growth. Actually used to work for me on the Pinnacle side, leading the Bird's Eye brand. So good to have her back in the family. But a lot of that time spent on the people. But the second thing I would just say is one of the beauties of this acquisition is really we're just trying to extend and continue to execute the Sovos playbook. The team has done a masterful job, and so we're not expecting any changes or shifts. It's just really about stepping on the accelerator and continuing to drive a strategy that really looks like it's working well.
I've been covering your leadership for a while, Mark, and of course I remember when you guys made this deal. So this comment on the press release, it really wasn't lost on me. I think it was you that said you want to be viewed as the most dependable, growth-oriented, large-cap value names in food. Do you think the street is sleeping on the financial impact of this deal? I looked at the earnings estimates. Yahoo Finance aggregates this stuff. I don't see the street lifting up their estimates, but shouldn't they? Because you're coming out with new products and you're also bolting on a business that was on fire last year.
Yeah. So look, I'll let you speculate on where the investment community is. But look, my hope is that what we've done, and over these last 5 years, this is a fairly profound transformation of an iconic company where we have been able to really, I think, breathe life back into these iconic fabric of the nation brands and brands like Campbell's and Pepperidge Farm Goldfish, while maybe making some swaps with parts of the portfolio that I think better position us for the future. And this gives us a portfolio and a brand in particular with Raos that is very complementary to our portfolio, but gives us significant scale and growth into the future. When you look at the business today, right, 50% of our business is a snacks business that has a tremendous track record and runway for sustained growth with a very, very solid self-help margin story. Now we're pairing it with a meals and beverage business that's going to bring a very dependable growth expectation and complementary nature within our categories to really be a leading player within the world of grocery. You put these two variables or these two kind of 1-2 punches together, I do think it really gives us a very, very solid claim to being that most dependable, most predictable player in food that's built on the brands and the growth and the focus of this terrific portfolio. So, we hope everyone will see that story come to life as well.
Do you think the brand last year, the sales were off the charts, Mark, up 25% year over year in terms of sales. Do you think it still grows at that rate this year?
Yeah, look, the reality is the 2-year growth rate 67%. So this is a business that has just really been on fire when we think about where Raos has gone. And again, it's just a terrific testament to the Sovos team. And I think that the good news is when I look at that more recent trends in growth, here's a couple things I see that are really encouraging. First, the growth is being fueled by both distribution and velocity, while also seeing continued expansion of household penetration. I love all three of those variables and glad that it's not singularly dependent on any one, but that the opportunity to demonstrate all three is a potential for growth. Two, I am really excited about what the team has done on the frozen side, right? This is not an easy category, and they've been able to come in with a differentiated, more premium product, and the velocities on those new items are extremely compelling. And, maybe a little closer to home, their super premium soup offering is also doing very well, adding a point of share growth right now within the world of soup to our portfolio. And it's going to be a wonderful complement to, again, our mainstream business, very differentiated but complementary to what we're doing on brands like Chunky and our condensed soup business. So I think the good news is that although that growth is sustained, it continues to demonstrate the expandability. And even with that growth rate, I can still see a very, very long runway of opportunity ahead.
Mark, true story. So ahead of this interview, 2 nights ago, I went and just bought a bunch of your products. I put them on my table at home. The cans look the same. A lot of the products, from what I could tell, they all taste the same as when I remember 10, 15 years ago, whatever it was. There's a lot of debate in this country right now about shrinkflation. I see it down the cereal aisles. I see it from some of your competitors. What's your philosophy on this happening? Because I think even the president weighed in. What's Campbell's philosophy on shrinking packages and taking ingredients out of their products?
Yeah, so look, I think a couple things that I would just say. The first thing that I would say is we all need to understand and recognize that as much as within the visibility to macroeconomic trends, there may be a lot of reasons to be encouraged and to feel like there's positive momentum, and there is in different areas and different variables, which is ultimately encouraging. But we've got to remind ourselves that many of the consumers in this country have spent the last several years in an unprecedented level of inflation. They're dealing with higher credit card balances, and although interest rates may have improved, they're certainly not down to the levels that they were historically. And so this consumer base has really been finding it tough. I mean, in fact, 8 out of 10 consumers, if you ask them today, are you better off than you were a year ago, would say no. And so I think our job as food companies, as much as it is a diligence and a requirement to ensure that we're doing the right things from a profitability and sustainability standpoint, that we're doing also the right things to maintain affordability. And so when we think about that in the context of the world we're in, there's a lot of different tools that can be used. But what we will not do is lower the quality of our products or lower the expectations of what a consumer might have when they open a bag of Milanos or they're having a bowl of Chunky soup. We will protect that at all costs. It's important. And by the way, let me just add for our new entrance into the family, we will not change the sauce of Raos either. This is going to be about maintaining and protecting the quality. Now, we very rarely change sizes of packages because it's not always the easiest area to execute, but there are certain moments where a particular price point on a large size or something may be part of someone's tool bag. But at the end of the day, what we want to do is ensure that we're, one, thinking about the needs of the consumers and staying affordable and relevant, while also being absolute gatekeepers on protecting the quality and the expectations that consumers should have when they open a Campbell's product.
Well, thank you for leaving the beef in my Chunky soup. Mark Klaus, congrats on this deal. Always nice to get some time with you, Campbell Soup CEO. We'll talk to you soon.
Great, Brian. Thank you.